एवरीवन वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल द सोलफुल डायरी। आज के वीडियो में हम द कैंटरबरी टेल्स की लाइन 388 से 444 तक डिस्कस करेंगे। अगर आपको कोई डाउट्स है तो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में हमसे पूछ सकते हो, और इससे पहले के सारे वीडियोस के लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। लाइन्स 388 to 410। The shipman is the ship's captain, the most skilled from here to Spain, more at home on the deck of ship than on the back of a horse. He is not above a little larceny or piracy, and in a sea fight he does not take prisoners. A shipman was there warning far by the west. For aught I wot, he was a Dartmouth. He rode upon a roundsea as he cowed, in a gown of vaulting to a knee, a dagger hanging on a lace, and had he above his neck, under his arm, adown. The hot summer had made his hue all brown, and certainly he was a good fellow. Full many a draught of wine had he draw from Bordeaux's ward, while he was the chapman's sleep. Of nice conscience took he no keep, if that he fought and had the higher hand, by water he sent them home to every hand. But of his craft to reckon well his tides, his steams and his dangers, him besides his Harborough, his moon, his Lord de Menage, there was none such from Hull unto Carthage. Hardy he was and wise to undertake, when many a tempest had his beard been shake, he knew all the heavens as they were. From Gotland to the Cape of Finisterre, and every crack in Brittany and Spain, his barge Wycliffe was the Magdalen. Wycliffe was a ham. A sailor was there. He was a resident of the West Country. For all I know, he came from the southwest port of Ternmouth. He rode upon a heavy, powerful horse as well as he could, because he was not good at riding. He wore a gown of coarse cloth which reached his knees. He carried a dagger by means of a cord hung around his neck and beneath his arm. The heat of summer had rendered his complexion brown, and without doubt he was a rascal. He had stolen plenty of wine from the cargo which he had undertaken to carry from Bordeaux. He stole the wine when the owner was asleep on his ship. He never paid any heed to the voice and the warnings of his conscience. If he fought and won a victory over his adversaries, he threw them into the sea. But there was nobody from Hull and Yorkshire to Carthage in Spain who could equal him in his skill in calculating the time of ocean tides, judging ocean currents, dealing with the dangers that beset him, finding his way to his destination by watching the movements of the moon in the sky, and in steering the ship. He was a tough man and shrewd in his undertakings. His beard had been shaken by many storms. He was familiar with all the harbours from Gotland to the Cape of Finisterre. He also knew every inlet on the sea coast in Brittany and Spain. The name of his ship was Madeleine. Lines 411 to 428. The medical doctor is also the best in his profession, and though his practice, typical of the period, sounds to us more like astrology and magic than medicine, he makes a good living at it. With us there was a doctor of psych. In all this world was there none like him, to speak of psych and of surgery, for he was grounded in astronomy, that is, the influence of stars on human life. He kept his patient a full great deal in hours by his magic natural. Well could he fortune the ascendant of his images for his patient. He knew the cause of every malady, were if of hot or cold or moist or dry, and where engendered and of what humour. He was a very perfect practicer. The cause I know, and of his harm the root, and then he gave the sick man his boot. His connections with the druggist full ready had he his apothecaries to send him drugs, and his lotteries for each of them made other for to win. Their friendship was not new to begin. There was a doctor of medicine in our company. In this whole world, there was nobody who would speak with such authority about medicine and surgery, for he had thoroughly studied the science of the influence of the stars on human affairs and especially on the health of individuals. He watched his patients very carefully during the time of different conjunctions of the planet so as to apply his remedies to the most appropriate movement. He was skillfully in choosing the time for talismans for his patients, it being necessary to be careful in choosing such times so that the influence of the planets could make the talisman most effective. He knew the cause of every sickness. He knew whether a sickness was due to the excess of heat or cold, of moisture or dryness in the patient's body. He knew the source of a disease and the particular humor from which it resulted. He was the most perfect practitioner of medicine. Having found the cause and the origin of a patient's disease, he at once administered to him the appropriate remedy. He had his chemists who were all ready to send him drugs and medicines because he and they mutually helped one another to make profits out of this trade. The friendship between him and them was of long standing. Lines 429 to 444. Well knew he the old Scrupularius and discorderies and ruses, old Hippocrates, Halley and Galen, Serapion, Rhesus, Avicen, Evorus, Damascene, Constantine, Bernard, Gadsden, and Gilbert. His personal habits, his appearance, of his diet measurable was he, for it was of no superfluity, but of great nourishing and digestible. His study was but little of the Bible, and sanguine and in purse he clad was all, lined with taffeta, with sandal, and yet he was but easy of dispense. He kept what he won in pestilence, that is acquired during the days of plague, for gold and Psyche is a cordial, therefore he loved gold in special. Well did the doctor know the authors of the principal medicinal textbooks, the old Aesculapius, Dixodus, Rufus, Old Hippocrates, Haley, Galen, Serapion, Rhesus, Snare, Averroes, Damson, Constantine, Bernard, Gatiston, and Gilbertine. He was moderate in his diet, which never included anything unnecessary, but which was extremely nourishing and digestible. His knowledge of the Bible was very meager because, being a physician, he was a skeptic. The clothes he wore were blood red and blue gray in color and were lined with taffeta and fine silk. However, he was slow to spend money. He had preserved and all the money that he had made during the time of the plague as gold as an ingredient in preparing certain medicines, especially those which strain the heart. He loved gold specially. थैंक यू। आई होप आज की वीडियो आपको पसंद आई। कैसी लगी हमें कमेंट करके बताएं, और अगर कोई डाउट्स है सजेशंस है तो वो भी आप हमें कमेंट्स के थ्रू बता सकते हैं। अगर वीडियो अच्छी लगी तो लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल। मिलते हैं कल एक और इन्फॉर्मेटिव वीडियो के साथ शाम 4 बजे। टिल देन कीप वॉचिंग एंड कीप सपोर्टिंग द सोलफुल डायरी। थैंक यू।